focused on uplifting the excellence and leadership of Black men. Think about it. A conference specifically dedicated to acknowledging and celebrating Black men, not merely as performers in sports and entertainment or problems to be solved, but as leaders, contributors, and yes, heroes. It's a simple concept, but one too rarely expressed or championed, even with today's renewed emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion in corporate America, and beyond since the murder of George Floyd. While men of color are still largely defined by the challenges, obstacles, and yes, threats we face, we at Black Enterprise choose to focus on and celebrate the persistence, creativity, determination, diligence, genius, and faith we draw upon to overcome and succeed every day of our lives as Black men, no matter what. That's why we've recognized the likes of former American Express Chairman Ken Chenault, Bishop T.D. Jakes, filmmaker Robert Townsend, and the late Congressman John Lewis with XCEL Awards in the past. And that is what tonight's XCEL Awards are about, and what our honorees represent: an undeniable, indomitable, an unconditional celebration of our excellence and leadership as Black men. In just a few minutes, you will meet this year's esteemed honorees. But first, please allow me to take a moment to recognize FedEx, the host sponsor of the Black Men XCEL Summit since the inaugural event in 2017, and the host of this evening's XCEL Awards dinner and gala. FedEx's investment in Black Men XCEL, including our virtual executions of this event over the past 2 years, is a continuation of a valued and fruitful partnership. In the past, and as an early and loyal advertiser in Black Enterprise, and today, doing business with us across all of our digital platforms and event platforms. Please join me in giving an enthusiastic welcome to the Senior Vice President of the Eastern Division U.S. Operations and the Chief Diversity Officer for FedEx Express, Mr. Shannon A. Brown.
Well, good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh, it's just nice to be back here in person again. And virtual is okay, but being in person is great. I'm glad to see all of you all, and this crowd is just growing every year, and FedEx is proud to be a part of it. You know, as a title sponsor for Black Men XCEL, I'm proud to greet you on behalf of the 600,000 FedEx team members around the world. As a Memphis-based company listed among Black Enterprise's best companies for diversity, FedEx is pleased to be a part of this success story. For nearly 30 years, we've been a strong supporter of Black Enterprise, and I extend special thanks to Butch and his wonderful team for their vision in presenting this outstanding program. Our support represents the FedEx commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is part of our DNA, and we applaud Black Men XCEL for celebrating achievements and providing a platform to address both challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead. Can I have all of my FedEx team members to stand, please? You know, for the last 44 years, it's been great to work with this great team, and they make me look good and all the hard work behind the scenes. And I'm stepping off the scene from FedEx, and I'm retiring at November the 30th and becoming a consultant to the organization. But I also wanted to, thank you. But I also want to show you how we do it the FedEx way. Mr. Sam Nesbitt is my replacement as the Eastern Division Senior Vice President of Eastern Division Operations. Mr. Christopher Winden, Corporate Vice President, Chief People Officer and Inclusion, taking over diversity. and a host of other VPs that joining us today. Thank you guys for what you do. I'll be on the sideline kind of pushing you along. So let's get ready for a powerful and inspirational program for the next 3 days. For all of us, excellence is a goal and a call to action. And we have roles to play in opening doors, not only for ourselves, but for others. Once again, FedEx is delighted to serve as the title sponsor. So let's take advantage of the many great programs and networking opportunities that the 2022 Black Men XCEL Summit. Thank you, and let's enjoy this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shannon and FedEx, for your enduring partnership and commitment. Tonight and throughout the week, your presence here is a testament to our resilience and optimism, two remarkable attributes that characterize the unique tradition of Black Americans. These past 2 years, however, have been painful and personal reminders of the loss that has touched the lives of everyone in this room. Within the Graves family, we too had to come to terms with such a deep, heartfelt void. The return of the Black Men XCEL Summit as an in-person event comes 2.5 years after the passing of the visionary founder of Black Enterprise, my dad, Earl Graves Sr. My father left a legacy that more than focused on economic equality for African Americans. He fought to ensure that Black men were celebrated for more than performing on the stage and in sports arenas. In fact, for more than 40 years, Black Enterprise was the only national magazine that regularly featured Black men on its covers who were not athletes and entertainers, but CEOs, corporate executives, entrepreneurs, doctors, lawyers, Wall Street financiers, mayors, governors, and eventually, yes, a sitting US president. My father was a role model, mentor, sponsor, and steadfast champion of Black men in all arenas, especially the boardrooms and executive suites of corporate America. And that commitment remains an indelible part of the DNA of our company today. To that end, it is now my privilege to share my father's enduring legacy in this beautiful tribute.
He was a pioneer, a visionary, a change agent who enabled millions of African Americans across 50 years to become a part of the economic and business mainstream.
The whole premise of the magazine is to say to African Americans from the beginning, you too can have a piece of the economic action of this country, right? That the opportunities are there, whether or not you're talking about as a professional going into some line of work, as a person working in another corporation for somebody else, or putting the key in the door yourself every morning.
Black Enterprise was launched in August 1970. That was the very first issue of Black Enterprise. But the story of Black Enterprise launching in August 1970 grew out of something else. Out of tragedy sometimes comes triumph.
The tragedy was the assassination of presidential candidate Robert Kennedy, a time when trusted Kennedy aide Earl Graves Sr. suddenly found himself unemployed. It was the 1970s, and money was tight for most African Americans. They were hungry for a way to build wealth and power, and Graves was ambitious and gutsy enough to show them the way.
I think of the Earl Graves' legacy as being one of an example of great business leadership. He had an idea that was really original, and he created something really special that continues today.
Black Enterprise chronicled the major achievements of and advocated for the elevation of Blacks in all aspects of the business arena, from Main Street to Wall Street, From the factory floor to the boardroom, the 35-year-old former Green Beret became known for his tenacity, never taking no for an answer, making the publication profitable by its 9th issue.
No one took lightly to a call from Earl Graves. I mean, that was one of those calls that you took immediately. He made the leaders of businesses, particularly in my case, consumer products businesses, aware of, sensitive to, and compassionate for the African American community.
That helped to create a multi-million-dollar empire that grew from a single publication company to the #1 Black digital media brand with more than 10 million monthly unique visitors. He was responsible for bringing African Americans together through an array of conferences, including the Women of Power Summit, the premier event for female professionals of color.
I had a conversation with Butch and with Mr. Graves and challenged Black Enterprise to come up with something that State Farm could own. The team came back with this concept of Women of Power. I think it's one of the best things that Black Enterprise and State Farm has ever done together.
Today, Black Enterprise is under the leadership of his son, CEO Earl Butch Graves, Jr.
The most important lessons I learned from my father was that he never put his family second. Because in his mind, success without sharing it with his family would not be success at all.
Married nearly 52 years to wife Barbara, with 3 sons and 8 grandchildren, Earl Graves Sr. still made time to hold seats on the boards of major corporations. He also made time for ambitious executives, hoping to climb the corporate ladder.
He said, young man, aim high because I'm going to see some of your senior people, and I'd like to see some people like you in the years to come. He also said, if I can ever help you, give me a call. And then in classic Earl Graves style, he said, and if you can ever help me sell some advertising, definitely give me a call.
A long-standing civil rights activist, he believed there could be no social justice without economic opportunity. His mission was to ensure that all Americans, including those of color, share in the American dream of equality and prosperity.
All of us are legacies of Mr. Graves because without him, without the impact of Black Enterprise, there would be few opportunities for people like me. And so I am just reminded every day that we owe him a great deal of gratitude.
I hope my father's contributions profoundly serve as a source of guidance and inspiration in your courageous pursuit and ascension to new heights. We also seek to make this year's return engagement to the Black Men XCEL Summit a complete and rewarding experience that will enable you to design the careers and build the lives you richly deserve. And with that, please welcome back my friend and our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Ed Gordon.
I just want us to take a moment as we watched the video on Mr. Graves and just think about how iconic he was and to think about how we use that word today. We use icon and hero very loosely today. And I think when you see someone of his gravitas, it reminds us of the people that came before and what we really owe their debt to us to repay to the next generation. So let us once again give Earl Graves Sr. a round of applause, please. Now on to the awards. There we go. The XCEL Awards recognizes the outstanding trailblazers and triumphant champions whose achievements and impacts and leadership in every profession and area of endeavors provide shining examples of success for all of us to be inspired by. The XCEL Award celebrates those Black men who represent absolute greatness and serve as the standard of excellence, not just for African Americans, but for the world. Tonight we honor a chairman, an unparalleled corporate giant whose arduous journey to the top is profoundly inspiring. We honor a remarkable innovator recognized across the world as the top leader in the realms of media, tech, and marketing. We honor a corporate captain who led his fleet of ships through a perfect storm, showing all of corporate America how riding the waves is truly done. We honor a 7-time All-Star and Hall of Famer who walked off the court and made an extraordinary leap into the business world, and he's still achieving and succeeding. And lastly, we honor the outstanding and awesome barrister who fights the endless fight for lives that matter, giving a voice to the victims of senseless slayings and their families. And in keeping with the broad diversity of their achievements, Corporate Partners United Health Group, Ally Financial Inc., Prudential, and FedEx join us in presenting the XCEL Awards to these illustrious individuals. Please join me in thanking each of them for being a part of this special evening. Now, here to present the evening's first award is the Vice President of Development, Retention, and Advancement for United Health Group, Kevin L. Henderson.
Thank you, Ed. It is my immense pleasure to present this evening's first XCEL Award to the incomparable Ray Robinson. By any standard, Ray Robinson is the corporate candidate any business could ever want. He's passionate about his profession, forward-thinking in his outlook, and a natural-born leader. And it was one of the world's largest telecommunications corporations that first captured the golden ring that is Ray Robinson. He has long been a major asset for media giant AT&T, firmly fixing his corporate ladder to the company for 35 years. He would not only move up, he would move around, relocating 13 times on his way to the C-suite. And it is those moves he feels gave him the audacity to catapult a most impressive corporate career. Here's a look at his compelling story.
Ray Robinson rose from the segregated South to become the president of AT&T's Southern Region, a golf club president, and now chairman of the board of Citizens Trust Bank. And he points to his community growing up in North Dallas as key to his success.
The schools were all segregated, the pools were segregated, the parks were segregated, but we had our own pool, we had our own baseball park, so we had our own community. And what that meant to me was the fact that we were able to recognize people in an environment they were used to. We recognized natural leaders came out of that environment. People basically achieved whatever goals they wanted to achieve. It was foundational for me.
It was his mother and father who solidified that foundation.
So I would say that they were the very first role models that I had, and what I learned from them, even though they were not formally educated, I learned from them that if you do something, if you put everything into it and you do it long enough and hard enough, you can be successful. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do. Just do what you think you can do, and if you don't succeed, if you give it your best, then that's all you could ask for.
That success would begin while in high school, when he started working for AT&T.
They hired me each summer to come back and continue in the same job of testing circuits. When I graduated, got my undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Denver, I was hired by AT&T on their fast track program. I moved every 18 months, and I made a lot of moves to a lot of different cities and a lot of different states. But I think just that moving around for different opportunities essentially probably made me more observant of the fact that happiness is where you are and what you're doing where you are. And that motto kind of stays with me today. And the worst place I've ever lived is where I'm going, and the best place I've ever lived is where I am.
That motto landed him in Atlanta as both the president of AT&T's Southern Region and the president of the East Lake Golf Club. But it was his role leading the redevelopment of his community that landed him on the cover of Black Enterprise magazine in 2004, when it chose Atlanta as one of the best cities to live, work, and play.
Being on the cover of Black Enterprise magazine is something every black professional wants to have happen. When Earl Graves said they wanted to do a story about Atlanta and they wanted me to be on the cover along with our mayor and several other people, I was absolutely thrilled.
Robinson had a long personal relationship with Black Enterprise founder Earl Graves Sr., who was both friend and mentor.
We traveled together, we vacationed together. I spent time at his home talking about things that mattered to us. And it usually was about family, it was about our community, meaning the black community. He was the kind of friend and mentor to me that basically helped me recognize that I had an obligation not to just make it, but to help someone else make it.
And for those who wish to follow him to the C-suite, Ray Robinson has this advice.
It's pretty simple. First and foremost, do the job that you currently have. Do it to the best of your ability. Do it with the resolve that you're going to do it as well as anyone. Do that well, and more than likely, you're going to be recognized for having done a good job, and you're going to be given other opportunities. And that's basically the way you move forward and create the kind of relationships and contacts that will allow others to help you when you need help. And by the way, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
For his incredible rise through the corporate ranks to the C-suite, to helping others climb the ladder to success, and for his excellence in leadership, Black Enterprise is proud to present the 2022 Black Men XCEL Award to Ray Robinson.
It is now my pleasure to present the 2022 Black Men XCEL Award to the chairman of Citizens Bankshare Corporation, Mr. Ray M. Robinson, Jr.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
I won't do this to every honoree, but Ray, we've got a little surprise for you. So just turn yourself around there. Take a look at that.
Well, well, well. I bet you, Ray Robinson, did not expect to see this face on the screen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christy Ray Robinson, and I am Ray Robinson's daughter. I wanted to take this moment because I was not able to be with you all tonight, to be able to share just a bit about the man that you're honoring tonight for the Black Enterprise XCEL Awards Dedicated Corporate Champion. Absolutely, that's who he is. He has been a dedicated father. Daddy, dedication and what you've done to build the family and all of what you've afforded Shane and I to experience, you and my mother, has set us up for a life of success. And it's through the dedication, not just to corporate America, but to us. We thank you. Corporate I remember moving from city to city, being mad, wanting to stay somewhere, but I understand what you were doing. And oftentimes you had responsibilities that were tough, but you moved right on through it and you kept us in mind. And for that, look at what you've created, a legacy. And a legacy through being a righteous leader. And lastly, a champion. You are my champion. Daddy, we've been through a lot, particularly since Mommy's passing. But what I do know is that you are every bit deserving of this award. I want you to look around and soak all of this in and allow everyone to love on you, because I know you give so much. And I have a secret for you. It's not over. You have a lot more to give. So congratulations, Daddy. And when I get back from my vacation, I'm gonna take you out to dinner. I love you. Congratulations, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Wow. I certainly was not expecting that at all. Just give me a minute here just to kind of recompose myself. First and foremost, I want to thank Black Enterprise Magazine, a media company, for bestowing this honor upon me. As was mentioned earlier, this award means a lot to me because of the founder of Black Enterprise Magazine. Butch has already stated the obvious. Earl and I were very dear friends. As I was watching the tribute to Earl, and he started the magazine in 1970. I got my undergraduate degree in 1970. Never in my wildest dream that I think I would ever meet Earl Graves. Little did I know that Earl and I would become very, very, very good friends. And for that, this award means more to me than any other award I've received, because this is someone who was truly a mentor to me. Helped me manage my career and gave me some life lessons that I will never forget. So I once again want to say thank you, Earl, for what you have created. Thank you for the desire you put into me to try and achieve my goals in corporate America. All of us owe him a great deal of gratitude. And secondly, I wanted to take a moment because I know Earl, and I know that he's listening to my words now. And I want to say to Butch Graves, your father would be extraordinarily proud of you. I know firsthand that he has not just sat on Earl's legacy. Butch has actually catapulted that legacy. He is still a very strong voice for Black people in corporate America. I have witnessed firsthand how he pushes and insists that the Black community not be overlooked. For that, I'm also very, very appreciative. And I also must say to my family and my friends, my son's here, my daughter is vacationing, as she said, and I had no idea that this was going to happen, but I appreciate all of you because I know you made many sacrifices for me. I know my late wife certainly made sacrifices, and I did not accomplish what I've accomplished alone. I have had a great deal of help and a great supporting cast, and I thank you for that. And lastly, I want to say to all of you that whatever you choose to achieve, you can achieve it. The first thing you have to do, though, is get started. And once you start, don't stop until you finish. Again, thank you very much for this award. I appreciate and love all of you. May God bless you.
Congratulations again. I should take note to the other honorees. We actually asked family members of yours to say a little something. They all declined. So essentially the last video we're going to see of that. Now here to present our next award is the Senior Director of Supplier Diversity and Sustainability for Ally Financial. Please welcome T.J. Lewis.
Thank you, Ed, and good evening. I'm equally honored to serve as a presenter for this evening's XCEL Awards and to present to the truly innovative Kirk McDonald. He leads 6,500 strong and exercises a vision that thus far has earned his company $17.6 billion in media investment billings across the US and Canada, cornering 22% of the largest market in the world. As one of the most vital leaders in tech, media, and marketing, Kirk's Group M North America is shaping the next era of media where advertising works better for people. Let's take a look at this truly visionary leader.
Group M was a really, I think, great opportunity for me to sort of add to what had been a long career now in media and advertising.
Group M, North America CEO Kirk McDonald has been in the C-suite of several companies on his way to being named one of the most influential leaders in tech, media, and marketing. He now oversees the North American division of the world's leading media investment company, with thousands of employees dedicated to the creation of impactful advertising for the world's most recognized brands.
This is the side of media where we actually build the strategies around how brands want to show up in terms of telling their story to consumers. We've concentrated around new majority-ready coalitions, multicultural marketplaces, and in the last couple of years, our Media Inclusion Initiative, which was a commitment of 2% or more from our advertisers committed to Black-owned media companies.
McDonald knows how tough it can be to break into a new venture.
As a child of immigrants, we came into America and migrated here with this intention of how could we actually pursue and find the American dream. There's also this recognition that for a long time, people like us have suffered from imposter syndrome, not feeling like we owned the spaces that we were in and that we had a right to be there. My upbringing has helped me find my own voice in those rooms. My mother gave me a quote graduating high school that I still hold very dear because it represents a lot about who I am and the philosophy or work ethic. And it's, "The height by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward through the night."
As a young man, he decided to work his way up in advertising as a marketer and storyteller, building brands.
The advertising industry has been a great educator of the importance of patience and persistence working together, the importance of having perseverance. So today I know that diversity, equity, inclusion are business imperatives. They're not initiatives. They're not causes that should only be driven for social good. If business is to be successful, business must rely on understanding this and leading the way.
For McDonald, the goal is to keep improving, keep expanding opportunities, pushing horizons further.
When I remind myself that I'm part of being change, that I am to be a change agent, I remember positivity. I've owned my voice. I've earned the right to speak my truth, and I speak it. I speak it with confidence. My contributions to business will help businesses beat those who aren't changing quickly enough, are not recognizing their future and recognizing the opportunities in front of them. So with that confidence, hopefully I've still got a little bit more to contribute to this thing before I'm done.
And Kirk McDonald wants to bring many more along the way as he continues his contribution to this new age.
Your value lies in who you are. So when you come into this industry, be your authentic self. Find and build a network that can help you navigate through, because as I said before, the pathway won't be clear, but it can be yours if you have the right energy and persistence to go after it. Come in. Your perspectives are needed. We need more of your thinking. You are the future.
For his forward-looking approach towards a brave new world of advertising, for mentoring, reaching for change and maximizing opportunities for future generations, Black Enterprise is proud to present the 2022 Black Men XCEL Award to Kirk McDonald.
It is my pleasure to present the 2022 XCEL Award to the CEO of Group M North America, Kirk McDonald.
So a couple of things that strike me. One, I sat at the table with my fellow honorees and I said, I hope I don't have to follow Ray. That didn't work out. The other thing to remember is that in this age of digital permanence, whatever you get videotaped and you get put online, it turns out people can find it and put in a video of you. So that's a good thing to remember too. Listen, this is a moment where I think my imposter syndrome is real, because among this audience, this doesn't feel like I've done enough to deserve this. I am humbled by this recognition. I'm honored to be a part of this magnificent celebration tonight. This crowd, this gathering, my fellow honorees, to be in their company is in and of itself something beyond my wildest imagination. When I immigrated here as a 12-year-old from Jamaica, from the West Indies, and we thought we were going to take our bite out of the apple and pursue the American dream. When I couldn't finish my last year of college because I couldn't afford it and had to put that off and enter the corporate world, I just wanted to get a job that was more than my age at the time. That was the goal. And to actually be here in this moment, I will borrow from Ray and say, of all the awards I've been given, and I've been fortunate to be named on a few lists, this one feels amazingly the most special. Thank you, Black Enterprise. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for this XCEL Award, this recognition of Black excellence. Thank you for taking and setting aside the time for us to connect, re-energize, recharge ourselves, but also strengthen the network that is formed through our connections. I am beyond words, so I'm going to not go much longer, but just to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations, Kirk, and thank you, TJ. Presenting our next award is the Vice President of Strategic Relationship Management for Prudential. Please welcome Newman Rochester, Jr.
Thank you, Ed, and good evening, everyone. Our next honoree has steered the world's largest cruise ship company for nearly a decade, always at the helm. Whether the waters prove treacherous or as calm as a babbling brook, And even when COVID spewed its relentless infections throughout his industry, Arnold Donald met yet another insurmountable challenge, staying the course while too many other businesses sank. His business prowess and sheer determination not to jump overboard with the rest of them kept his fleet and company afloat, and now it's full steam ahead. Let's take a look.
He started at Monsanto and rose to senior vice president. He then joined cruise giant Carnival Corporation and rose to become CEO and vice chairman. Yet, with all the accolades in his career, Arnold Donald looks at the Black Enterprise XCEL Awards as much more than the recognition of corporate leadership.
They also, serve as a sort of a beacon, for people to aspire to. And in the case of the XCEL Award, historically, I think it really represents, professional and community excellence. It highlights it, it puts it on stage, and it can become a model, for others as they go about their life trying to have a positive impact.
That desire to have a positive impact and strive to do better was instilled by his parents.
They didn't have opportunity even for education, but they really highly valued education. And through their focus on us, myself and my siblings, we all developed a thirst for lifelong learning. My mom and dad also took care of 27 foster kids over time, so they lived and modeled, sharing with others, trying to be a positive participant with others. And so I think those are things that have helped shape me.
Life was also shaped by the turbulence of the 1960s.
It was the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of that, Muhammad Ali fighting Sonny Liston, man going to the moon. It was a time of great change for American society and the global society. It was the advent of affirmative action. There was the possibility for somebody my age to see possibility, to see that I could do whatever I wanted to do. And I was fortunate enough, which was a huge turning point, to go to St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, where they taught us 3 times a day. At the beginning when we first walked in, at lunchtime, at the end of the day, gentlemen, prepare yourselves, you're gonna run the world. And we're all black, all boys, Catholic high school, but they instilled in us a sense of no excuses and a sense of excellence.
Those were the values that propelled Donald to the C-suite of a tourism behemoth.
When they first shocked me by asking me to lead Carnival Corporation, I almost said no, which would have been the worst decision of my life because it's the best job ever. I immediately thought, well, what kind of legacy would I want to leave? What's the purpose of taking the role? And I decided that if the employees said, when I was done, that it was a great place to work, if they said that they felt they had the opportunity to contribute and they were recognized for their contributions, that had the opportunity to accumulate wealth for themselves and their families, and that they felt overall they're making a positive impact on the world. If the employees felt that way and I contributed to that in any way, then I would have done my job.
And Arnold Donald says, the most important thing for any leader is to know how to listen.
If you really listen to the people, they'll tell you what they need. And then you have to incorporate those needs into what you're trying to accomplish, because then they own the accomplishment. They own the pursuit of the accomplishment. And when you get a diverse group of talented people working together with a clear common objective, they can make anything.
For listening to those he employed and those he served, for his dedication to diversity and inclusivity, and for living up to the legacy he wanted to leave, Black Enterprise is proud to present the 2022 Black Men XCEL Award to Arnold Donald.
It is my pleasure to present the 2022 XCEL Award to CEO of Carnival Corporation and PLC, Arnold Donald. Big step, man. Big step, bro. Congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Newman, for the presentation. Thank you all for being here. Thank the production crew who found those shots of me as a little kid and all that. I don't know how they did that, but that was impressive. And I just, like the previous recipients here and the ones that'll come up after me, it's so meaningful. And the tape we saw at the beginning here, I just want to acknowledge with everyone else the many contributions of Earl Graves Jr. and Barbara Graves for decades in furthering the advancement of blacks in business, giving us an opportunity to be inspired, to have aspirations, to have those aspirations encouraged, just decades of tremendous contribution. And one of the other contributions, of course, was Butch and his siblings. And Butch, I want to acknowledge you for your continuing the great legacy of Black enterprise and the role it's playing in helping all of us to see a brighter and better future, not only for blacks, but for everyone. So they say we had a minute, so I'm going to only take a minute and just say that I have to thank the hundreds of thousands of employees I've worked with over the years, and it's literally hundreds of thousands from 145 plus different countries in the world. The investment, the dedication, the commitment, the ingenuity. I had the opportunity to sort of lead them, but really by listening to them, to free them so they could create incredible results. And so I want to thank all of them. And again, I want to thank you guys for being here and for setting an example. And I tell you, with all sincerity, I will continue my dedication and commitment to furthering diversity and inclusion and to championing the future black leaders, many of whom are in this room, for continued success. So thank you all very much.
We moved it on you.
Moved it.
Congratulations, Arnold. I should note, he talked about finding the pictures when he was a little kid. Those aren't the pictures I'm most interested in. I'm more interested in the ones we see because clearly Ray was a player in college. I don't know if y'all caught that one, but I did, Ray. I caught that one. And, I love when you see cats, if they're my age or older, they look like the third horn player in the Commodores with the big fro. And for any of you who saw the documentary on Ben Crump, y'all know he's a Q, right? Seriously. Did y'all see the one, when you go to a concert and they got the Mercedes spray painted all? Ben had his hat on backwards, he was all like this. That's the one. That's the one I'm looking for, Ben Crump. I think I got that one on my phone, baby. All right, I know you all are hungry, so we're going to pause this time for a little dinner. We'll conclude our awards ceremony following our meal. I'd like to invite another of the visionaries behind the Black Men XCEL Summit to come and offer an invocation. Please welcome the Senior Vice President and Executive Editor-at-Large of Black Enterprise, Alfred Edmond, Jr.
I have to adjust the mic so it's right-sized. If we could all bow our heads. Oh, Heavenly Father, you are blessing us so abundantly even in this moment. Please remind us that when you pour into us, it is not just for us, but that we are meant to pour into one another. Let us carry that every day, through every session, through every conversation while we are here. And Lord, help us to remind us that not only are we to pour into one another here, we are to continue pouring when we leave this place. For the test of this meeting is what we do after the meeting. Lord God, bless this food you've allowed us to receive for the nourishment of our minds, our bodies, and our spirits. In the name of Jesus, amen. Enjoy.
I've been throw up the